What up, everyone? Back for another monthly review. We've got 4 boxes here, so we're going to open them up and talk about them. And I got the puppies here with me, who are probably going to make it difficult to record, because that's just what they do. They sleep until I start recording, and then they wake up and distract me. So we'll just try to ignore them in the background. So starting off, small to big, first we got Geek Fuel. The Geek Fuel bag. And as always, we get a t-shirt. So let's take a look at this one. Mount Greylock. And this is a Harry Potter shirt. And this will get the standard $12 to $15 value. But as far as the score on this shirt, I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. It looks fine. It's decently done. But it's not their best. It's pretty simple. When people just put words on shirts, it's not that it's bad or anything like that, but there's just not a lot of design quality to it. But the quality of the shirts always used to be good, but they've been kind of going downhill slowly as well. So that's also unfortunate to see. But 6 out of 10, standard $12 to $15 value on the shirt. Next item, and the last item, is a pin from Mondo. So we had a few Marvel ones this month. I got Black Panther. The value on that's right around $10. So pretty standard for pins. Not too crazy there. A little bit less, honestly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have to always mention they have their $5 coupon in there. Doesn't actually get any value, but I just feel like it's necessary to mention that it's in there if you want it. So value on this on the low end, 22, on the high end, 25. So getting, honestly, probably a little less than you paid for. This is a $24 box. So for that reason, I'm only giving this one a 3 out of 10. This has been a slow decline with this company. They used to be the best, and they've just been declining, and I think they're on their way out. I get emails from them all the time, and they're constantly telling us about sales and things like that, like 50% off stuff, and that just goes with what I said many videos ago, that they're pretty much just selling off what's in their company. I think they're going to file for bankruptcy any day now. I think they're just trying to get rid of all the stuff they've already paid for that's in their warehouse before they do so. I don't know that for sure. That's just what it looks like from their behavior and the recent history, so that's what I think is going to happen, and signs keep pointing more and more to that. But anyway, could be wrong. You never know. 3 out of 10 on that. Next, we got the BAM box, which for some reason showed up in a bag this month. I don't really know why. I know they had some shipping problems. They had a lot of shipping delays, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I can't imagine that would be the issue, though, because they print like millions of those boxes that are that exact shape, so it'd be weird that they would just randomly run out. If I had to guess, maybe they're trying to redesign the box and that got held up, because they are doing a new system now. If you'll notice on the card, they have all the items, but everything has an upgraded option. So you have the option to get an upgrade item with all your items now. And they've also recently, I don't know what it was, if they merged with another company or just changing the name. Something big happened in their company, so they had to sell off a lot of their stock as well. And they're essentially a new company, and I think it's called Big Beast, as this card shows on here. Anyway, enough about the company. Let's talk about the items. First, where's my thing? Got an autograph from Clark Gregg. Agent Coulson is his role he's best known for. He's done a lot of stuff, though. The first role I ever saw him in was in The Adventures of New Christine with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I remember him from that, so he's done a lot of stuff, and he's been showing up over the past, 20 years. He's shown up in a lot of random places. So the value on that's going to be about $35 to $40. So a little bit higher than usually expected with these types of autographs. Usually they're right around 30, and when you get around 40, that's the ones that are just a little bit more popular. And because he was in Avengers and stuff like that, that's pretty reasonable. So really happy about that. I didn't get one of the one-up ones, but I call it one-up. That was what they used to call it. Any of the upgrades. The upgrades are just different pictures of him. So I'm not sure what gives that more value. It just seems kind of random, but, it's nice they give options. Next, we got our art print from Carl Alstater, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but no one's super special. We got an art print from Thor: Love and Thunder, and there's a matching one of Jane Foster, Lady Thor. And same as always, it's not bad. It's not like it's horrible artwork, but it looks like fan art. That's the quality it looks like when we get this. So again, I have to be generous and give it some value. It's always going to get usually around the $10 to $12 value, and that's pretty much what it is. Something to note though, when people are selling this artwork, the people that try to, on eBay and things like that, they often don't include the artist's name, which just goes to show that it's not an artist worth mentioning. They sell it as just Bambox prints, but they don't even mention the artist, which I find very odd. It just goes to show that the artists that are doing this are just not very popular. So something worth mentioning, that if you wanted it, you'd have to pay 10 to 12, but no one else is paying that price for it. None of them are selling on eBay or any other sites. Haven't seen a single one sell, so that just kind of goes to show. They've been switching out things with this box. They're not doing a prop replica anymore, but I think they should switch out the art prints at time to time too. It's just, they've gotten kind of stagnant and they need something fresh. Next, we got a pin. I got Dr. Fate. You had the option of getting Black Adam, and then they had glitter variants of each one. So they're back to the 2-pin system. We're only getting one again. I never understood why they switched from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 1, but we're back to getting 1 pin in each box. And they have 2 options, and then they have the rare glitter variant. I like that system. I like that if you want the set, it's not that hard to just go buy 1 more pin. And the rare ones aren't different characters, so it not making it extremely hard to collect. They're just glitter variants. So if you wanted the rare ones, you could get them, but you don't need them to complete a set of them. So I like this system a lot better. They used to give a bunch of different options, but like 2 of them were super rare, and they were really hard to get. So if you wanted the set, it's like, good fucking luck, man. Like, there's no way you're getting it. So I like this system a little better, and the pin's going to get the standard $12 to $15 value. Actually, it's not a standard value. It just always happens to be what the pins are worth from there. Even when they put in 2, it's still 12 to 15. It's weird. But 12 to 15 on that. And then the last thing they're doing is a promotional card with their new mascot, I'm assuming, the Big Beast. Again, I'm not sure what the company was doing. I don't know if it was a merger or they bought someone out. But anyway, changing names, new mascot, here it is. And I think they're trying to make this collectible, and that's going to be an uphill battle. It's hard to just make things collectible when it comes to cards. So many boxes have tried to do the same thing, whether it's make their own cards, try to make something collectible, and it just never works. It always has the potential to become collectible, but so does anything. So it's just very unrealistic to think that the cards they put in are going to be really collectible and really valuable. It's nice that they're trying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or anything, but I just don't see it going anywhere. So people were trying to sell this online for like $10 up to $25, but no one's buying them. No one's paying that price. No one wants that. So I'm trying to give it a realistic value. I will note one thing. The case it comes in, this like magnetic case, is like 1/2 inch thick acrylic. This is a really nice card case. So if nothing else, at least they gave a really nice card case with it, so that has some value. But if you don't like the card, you can just take it out and put a cool card in there. So at least they give you a really good case. I appreciate that. And the case is $2 to $5. That's how much you would pay for a case like this, which is expensive for a card case. So I'm giving it a value of $2 to $5 because honestly, at this point, I don't think this promo card has any value. Could it potentially one day? Maybe, but it's a very, very small percentage of a chance that this is ever going to be worth anything. I appreciate they're trying to make things collectible and trying to make things valuable. I appreciate it, but I don't think this is the way to go. And, like I said earlier, they took out the prop replica. And those weren't always great. A lot of them kind of sucked, honestly, but I'd still much rather have a prop replica than a promo card. Much rather. Even a bad prop replica, I would rather have that than this. Even the worst prop replicas were cards. So this is just, I don't think it's the best choice for them. I think they should get rid of the art print versus the prop replica, but that's just me. So total value on the low end is 59, on the high end 72, which sounds good, but as I previously stated, most of these values are going to be on the low end and even lower than that because the values I gave are not selling for that price. So it's hard to give things an exact value when no one's selling them. All you can go off of is what the listings are listed at. That's the only information I have, so I have to give it some number, and that's how I do it. But I don't think they're worth that. So the values, honestly, would probably be lower than that $59 value. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The signature was still really great. I think this box that's what they have going for it. That's what they're known for. That's always going to be their bread and butter. Fine, cool. Even the worst autographs we got are still pretty cool. And everything else is just kind of there. I always enjoy the pin. The pins are always really well done. So that's something added to it. Everything else I could really do without. I wish they'd bring back the prop replicas if they're going to trade something out. Trade out the art print and do those back and forth. But we really don't need a promo card. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So always nice to see the autograph, so I'll keep them around literally just for that reason. The autograph makes it worth it. But the other things, yeah, we'll see. So this is the new system they're trying out. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if they stick to it, because they've kind of gone back on a few things recently. I always bring up the cartoon box, which was my favorite box, and they only had that around for 2 or 3 months. So if it's not going well, I have faith in the company that they will do what's better for them. The good thing about them is they do seem like a legit good company. They do seem like they're interested in what the fans want, and they do care about that stuff. So you can always trust in them that they're going to do their best. Does it always work out? No, of course not. But I don't fault them for that. I don't think that that's a bad choice. It's just they're trying. They're just kind of, throwing things out there until something works. I appreciate that. All right. Next, Loot Crate. So Loot Crate's been back, and it's been monthly, which is good and still somewhat worrisome. Because good that it's back, that we finally get to review it again, but bad because we were almost a year behind, and we're catching up, but they're still only doing like one a month, and it's like, okay, you gotta pick up the pace a little bit to catch up with your backlog. So hopefully we'll see them a little more often, but no big deal. And I think this is the October box, I think. So it's good to see. It's been almost a year. Almost a year late, but we finally got the October box. But, I personally didn't care that it was late. The only reason I cared is because I didn't get to review them on the channel, but as long as it shows up eventually, whatever. So we got a Frankenstein shirt. And this will get the standard $12 to $15 value. As far as the score on the shirt, I'm only going to give it like a 4 out of 10. The design on it is fine. It's not bad, but, it's just like a very overly generic design. There's nothing super special about that. It's not even referring to like a specific movie or anything. When they do overly generic designs, it just, I don't know, it seems like I'm not sure if it's a rights issue or what the problem was, but it's just nothing too crazy. So it'll get a 4 out of 10 on that, and the quality on those shirts is not great. For a company that owns their own t-shirt company, you'd think the quality of the shirts would be significantly better, but no, they're just kind of okay. So 4 out of 10 on that. Next, we got some socks, also from Lootwear, and these are actually going for like $10 to $12, which I was pretty surprised that anyone would want them. They're also kind of generic, but if people are paying, 10 to $12 on that. And again, my theory is that these boxes got held up for so long because specific items got held up. So instead of making us wait a year, I think they just threw in random items that kind of fit to the theme and sent them out, because normally we wouldn't get socks or something like that. So that's just my theory, but I could be wrong. Next item. We actually got a drink spout. And this I like, but I'm also an avid alcoholic, as you can see by a drink I have literally every video. And this one is of a werewolf, kinda. I'll hopefully be showing a closer picture. So the werewolf head looks kind of funky. It kind of looks like something out of Adventure Time, but it's actually metal, which is cool. So it's not some cheap plastic thing. It's actually a metal spout. And this I appreciate, because I actually often need these, oddly enough, but I never think to go buy one. And this is really cool, werewolf head, so I'm actually going to use this. I will admit that I'm probably one of the few people that enjoyed this item. I'm sure most people getting this box didn't care about that because they're not crazy alcoholics like I am, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And the value on this is about $15 to $20, and it's actually selling for around those prices, which is good to see. And I think that's because people that buy it probably don't care about Loot Crate, but they care that that's a nice drink spout and that's a decent price. So I think that's pretty cool and well deserved. All right, next we got a pin, got a Dracula pin. actually pretty cool. Nothing super fancy, but it has some really nice design to it and really finite details. I'm assuming that's from the Dracula movie, but I don't know that movie well enough to like for sure recognize it. But either way, like it's still a really well done pin. Value on that's 6 to 10, and that's pretty standard for pins from Loot Crate because they're a little bit smaller and usually less detailed. But this is a very nice one. Then we got some postcards. Postcards from Loot Crate to send people. So literally just pieces of paper. And I'm going to be nice and give it a $3 to $5 value. I think it deserves something, but it's obviously not something that's crazy good. Now, that brings our value on the low end of 46, on the high end of 62. Now, this is a $30 box, and again, that high end sounds good, but like the last one, I really wouldn't personally value this on the higher end of these things. I'd go towards the lower value, because the shirt is something that's like, you probably wouldn't be able to sell that, and the postcards, same thing. So it's things that are just kind of in there, don't really have any value. They're not bad to see, but they're not really a positive either. So for that reason, I'm going to give this box a 6 out of 10. It was good. You got decent value even on the low end, and I really like that spout. That's badass, and that's something you really haven't ever gotten in a box now that I think of it. That's something new. I appreciate that. So it's still good, still technically worth it, but nothing mind-blowing. 6 out of 10 on that. Alright, and our last box. Now this one is a hefty one. We got our quarterly box, the Pusheen box by Culturefly. Now this comes 4 times a year, so it comes every 2 months, or however you want to say that. And this box has always been pretty fantastic. I've gotten a lot of boxes from Culturefly before. You can look at past videos. I got their DC box, the Nick box, and a few other random ones that they put out. And usually they're not super great. It's a very expensive box, but the stuff in there is usually subpar. On the other hand, Pusheen is one of the rare exceptions where this thing gets crazy value. Everything in here is 100% exclusive, and it's of a very specific character, so you know exactly what you're getting, whereas other topics are more general and you might get a character you don't like. This one, just one character, very specific. So you obviously have to like that character to get it, and considering you would, it just has fantastic value. But enough blabbering. Let's get into the items. First off, we got a shirt. And now the shirt quality in this box is actually pretty decent. Like, they do a good job. They really do good quality. And they've given things like jackets and sweatshirts, and those have been great quality. So they really put in some finite details. Little things that maybe people probably wouldn't notice, like the fact that it's a ringer shirt. Anyone that's got t-shirts printed or anyone that works for a company will tell you those are significantly harder to do and more expensive to have 2 tones on there. So the fact that they almost always do that just goes to show that even on a t-shirt, they're putting that little bit of extra care, even if it doesn't make a huge difference, but it's things that I notice. So I'm not a fan of the colors they choose, though. The colors are a little bit bright for my taste, but at least they're subtle tones. Loot Crate, usually if they were doing green, it would be like bright neon green, and this is... you might not be able to tell from the camera light, but it's like a soft, subtle green. Very, very soft, like leaf green. So that's a little more appropriate. A little more, I probably wouldn't wear that color, but it's something that's just less bright is the way to say it. I don't know. I'm rambling. Anyway, score on this shirt, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because it's got good design, it's got good color, very nice quality, and they usually fit pretty well, but that'll still get the standard $12 to $15 value. Next, we got a figure of Pusheen, and I'll have that in the picture. It's a pretty big figure. The base is like this big, and the detail on it's not crazy because it just can't be. It's a very simplistic figure, so the figures are very simplistic in their design, but intentionally so. Again, these sell very well. The value on this is $22 to $35. Why such a high range? Because 90% of them are listed at $35, and that's usually what they're selling at. When I looked it up, however, I did see one listing for $22. So I can't ignore that. I still have to take that into account, but that'll probably get sold by the time this video is edited and be gone, and that value will be more at the $35 value. But I have to mention the range nonetheless. And they're decent quality. I usually keep the figures from this box. They're a little hard to display, though, because they have such a big base, and they're very short, which is very hard to display. When you put it on a shelf, if it's something that has depth to it, you can't see if it's above eye level, and you also can't put a shelf above. It's just a very awkward shape. Not a big deal, but something worth mentioning. Next, we got a ceramic mini planter. This is obviously summer, by the way, and the theme is planting or gardening or whatever. I don't know if I mentioned that. But a planter. And this is actually very nice quality. It is ceramic. I can feel right now it's actually very heavy. They're very well done products. The value on this planter, $25 to $30, and which is expensive for a planter, but it is nice quality and it does have a very popular character. And again, let me mention, the values I'm mentioning for this box, usually that's all I can find and nothing's selling for that price. Almost all of these are being sold at the prices I'm mentioning. So something definitely worth noting. Next, we got a little watering can, and this is going to be $18 to $25. Same thing, it's actually tin, and it's good quality, well painted. So yeah, there you go. And in the tin was some gardening gloves, and these are going for $17 to $20. Next, we got a hat, and this is called a sun hat. Again, not really my style. I probably would never wear a hat like this, at least not out in public, but it's cool. It has an adorable picture on there. Pusheen is as shown in all these pictures with a sloth for some reason. I'm sure there's some relevance to that, but it's just adorable. To see a cat being held by a sloth, it's the most adorable thing ever. So if I were a person that wore these kinds of hats, I totally would. But anyway, this is going for $15 to $20. Surprisingly lower than I would have thought. All these other things are higher. Next, we got a gardening sign, and this is just a metal sign. I'm assuming it's dry erase, but it doesn't actually say, and it doesn't come with any sort of pen, which is odd. Usually they come with whatever writing utensil it is, so you know. If it has dry erase or it has a piece of chalk, you know what to use, or they at least say it. So this is very odd. It doesn't say that, but from the looks of it, it looks like dry erase. And this is going for $13 to $15. All right, last two items. First one, I'm calling it an apron, but people online called it a belt. You know, either way, kind of the same thing. It's basically the lower part of an apron. It's a tool belt. So either way you call it, it's, you know, pretty much the same thing. This is going for right about $20. And the last item is our shovel. There's a special word for it. Where is it? A trowel. So I didn't know that had a special name. I always just call it little shovel. But it's a trowel. And this is very well done too. Metal handle, metal shovel, and it also has the design printed all over it. Very well done. And that is going for $15 to $16. Now, a lot of these do sound high, and it is true, but Pusheen is just crazy fucking collectible. Like, you would think it would die off. He's like Mickey Mouse. Like, anything his face appears on is just instantly worth money, and it's blowing my mind. I understood when he came out, he was a very popular character. I'm a fan. I bought the box. But, you know, this was like, I don't know, was it like 10 years ago or something like that? The fact that this character is still this popular that far out without anything to support it. It's not like Pusheen has a movie or a TV show, as far as I know, he could. There's nothing that keeps it in pop culture other than like memes on the internet and random products. The fact that it's still this popular this far out is crazy. I can't believe that. So all these values, believe me, I'm just as shocked as you are that they're this high. And once again, let me reiterate, selling for those prices, which, with the exception of like one or two things that weren't really selling, but most of them selling for those prices at the very least on the low end. And now let's talk about the value. That brings our value total on the low end, $157. On the high end, $196. Arguably, on the high end, a little less than quadruple your value. That's unheard of. That's never been done. Maybe one time in the past. On the low end, factoring in the very lowest value, again, arguably just under triple the value. That's fucking crazy. The only box I know that gave like triple the value was the Marvel Collector Core, the very first one. That one that had Hulkbuster. That was the only one that I think gave triple the value and gave good quality. And that was 100% exclusive, which this is too. Everything in here is 100% exclusive. Only can be attained from this box. So all that being said, I'm giving this the rarest score ever, a 10 out of 10. I'm not sure if I've ever given that score. I think I may have one time, and I think it was that Marvel Collector Core box. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because it was amazing. Gave triple the value, 100% exclusive. This one's giving, could be, quadruple the value, and 100% exclusive. And it's so specific. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, if you got a box that was themed just Marvel, like, I would totally get that. But there are some Marvel characters that aren't my favorite that might show up in there. So you just kind of take that gamble. You like more characters than you dislike, so no big deal. The fact that this is just one character, you know, every time you order this box, you're getting that fucking cat on everything. That makes it so much easier because you know you're going to like the stuff. Will you necessarily use everything in here? No. But it's good to know that you can sell just about anything they give you and honestly make a profit on this box. Even if you fucking hated Pusheen, you could buy this box, sell everything in there, and make a profit. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. I've never heard of any, not only any box to do that, but any company ever where you can literally just buy products straight from them and immediately flip them for profit. That's insane. So I keep saying that I don't think this box is going to hold the value, that over time, people will catch on to this value and keep buying into it. They'll make more, and that'll devalue the items. But I've also been saying that for, like, I don't know, 2 years. How long have I had this? 2-3 years? Maybe longer. And it hasn't done that at all. If anything, the value's gotten more. So my mind is blown. One of the only 10 out of 10s I've ever given, but, you know, it's well worth it. And it makes me want to check out more from this company because I previously talked about some of the other boxes I've gotten, and I ended up canceling them because they were fine. They were good products, and they were well done, but it was a lot of stuff that didn't hold a lot of value because the DC one, they just didn't have the best characters, and they didn't do the best stuff, and I don't think they can do a Marvel one legally because Funko's doing theirs. And I did the Nick box, which again was cool stuff, but it was just so specific to like the 90s that I don't know, it just didn't really always hit home, but I kind of want to go back and try them. If it wasn't so expensive, I'd do it right now. I don't know if I mentioned this is a $55 box, so yeah, I want to try more of them, but I need to wait till I get some more money. I do want to try the Friends one and the Office one. I think those would be ones that would be pretty fun to get. Again, I don't think they'll have anywhere near the same value, but things I'd be interested in. Whew. That was a long-winded explanation. I promise this company's not paying me anything. I'm just very impressed by their box. And when you look at the other boxes that we have here, like it's a pretty impressive thing. So I hope subscription boxes do make a comeback. I really do, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And one day these will all be gone, but the ones we do have, I'm holding on to dearly because I like making these videos. I like collecting. I like doing that stuff. But I'm always looking for more outlets, more videos to do, so feel free to give any suggestions you have in the comments. Thank you for all the people that do weigh in regularly. I love to hear what you have to say. I love to hear your opinions. Please don't ever stop doing that. I always like to read your comments. And any suggestions you want to see, feel free. As always, feel free to ask any questions about anything. Stuff in the box, you see something you like, you just have questions about collecting or investing in general, feel free to ask any questions below. Other than that, thank you all for watching and supporting, and hopefully see you next week. And I'm trying to do a weekly thing again, but it doesn't always work out. So hopefully see you next week for another video. Thank you all for watching and supporting. Love you all. Peace.